No. Let me start with the best news. The Detroit Lions. The Detroit freaking Lions. 0 wins in their first 11 games. Sprinting towards history and becoming the first 0-16-1 team ever. A team that was coming up with new and exciting ways to not win and choke every single week. And they were at it again yesterday. But somehow, some way, after blowing a 2-touchdown lead, they actually had a look late. Final play of the game from the Vikings 11, damn straight. And they were taking hunks out of the Vikes yesterday. And if I were there with you, Detroit, right now, I'd be going cannibal as well and munching as many kneecaps as I could. That's got to feel pretty damn good. That's got to feel pretty damn good because that's pretty damn awesome. Pretty awesome for you and pretty horrible for the Vikes. Just like nobody wanted to be the first team to lose to Pervin Liar, Urban Meyer.
That's devastating.
You don't want to be the first team to lose to the Lions, and Minnesota did just that. I can't imagine that Mike Zimmer's all that pumped right about now. Just like I can't imagine that not sticking to Zimmer. Just like I can't imagine Zim's seat being any hotter than it is right now, because that guy and that team cannot lose that game, and they just did. Oh, and speaking of Perv Liar, how was that night out in Hollywood, buddy? Although I have not seen any reports to suggest that you abandoned your team once again and sent them back to Jayville without you because you needed to get out of Dodge and Buddy needed a night out. Although I've seen no reports to suggest that, I'm just going to assume that that's what happened. Allegedly. Just as I'm going to assume that no one in Hollywood knew you or cared about you when you went rolling through in your Ohio State pullover. Anyway, I am here to keep it positive. I'm here to stick to the good news because that's who I am and that's what I do. So let me hit you with some good news. Let me hit you with a question. In fact, does it get any better than Kevin Harlan calling a fake punt for a TD? Let me answer that right away. No. Great call by Pete Carroll, and even better call by Kevin Harlan. And Peter knew he was going to need to get into his bag all day long because his offense has been garbage. It's been garbage for a while now. And because it looked like Seattle tight end Gerald Everett was this double agent because he kept doing everything he could to keep the Niners in that game. He had not 1, not 2, but 3 turnovers yesterday. To quote the immortal Brian Wilson, man, let's get weird. You could throw that pass to that guy 1,000 times, and that's the only time that results in an interception, especially an interception like that. I mean, that was weird, really weird. So there's weird, and then there's dumb, which is exactly what Tom Brady was at the end of that first half against the Falcons. Look, I know Tampa Bay won. I know Brady is still in the driver's seat for the MVP, but man, that play at the end of that half was one of the most brain-dead moments I've seen from him since he forgot what down it was. Tampa Bay up 20-10. They've got the ball inside their own 10-yard line. Less than 30 seconds to go. They come out throwing, and TB44 throws this dumb. I mean, seriously, think of some of the worst quarterbacks you've ever seen in your life. They don't make a play that dumb. Yet that's the best quarterback that anybody's ever seen in their life, and he, in fact, did. Remember when Bruce Arians said that he had a, quote, very dumb football team? Well, on that play, he had a very dumb quarterback. I know he's having a hell of a year. I know he's the greatest quarterback of all time, which is all the more reason that play was so unbelievably stupid. Like everything about it, soup to nuts. From not taking a knee to calling a pass to then throwing that gift-wrapped pick 6. That really was a brain-dead move. Then again, the only thing more brain-dead would be running that play and then saying that Brady is getting old or losing it or some junk like that. He's not. The guy still is Tom Brady. He still is Tom Brady, even if he was Matt Schaub on that play. You never get. This is stupid. You never see a play like that from Brady But at least there are some constants in the world. You know, in a world that is so upside down and topsy-turvy, don't you want something reliable, something consistent, something you know you can count on? Well, we have that. And that is the New York Giants being garbage. They fired their offensive coordinator. Then they go out and they score 9 points yesterday. 9 points. 0 TDs in their 20-9 loss to the Dolphins. Daniel Jones was out with a neck injury, so they went with Mike Glennon. And all you losers who could not wait to make jokes about that and about Glennon's alleged family. Yeah, well, how do you feel now that Glennon suffered a concussion? How do you feel about that? Actually, you know what? Don't answer. I know how you feel about that. I know you don't give a damn. I know what you're going to say, which is why I have to say, if any of you losers want to make jokes about necks and heads right now, how about you shut your face instead? Because the guy did suffer a concussion. I don't need to hear about the fact that that concussion was caused by altitude, because his head is up so high because of the length of his neck. So therefore, it wasn't a hit. It was the altitude that put him in protocol. That is not possible, and that's not the case at all. And nobody should be joking about altitude-induced concussions. That was a disaster of a game for a disaster of a team in the middle of a disaster of a season. But you know who liked what he saw? Joe Judge. Because of course he did. I'm telling you, man, this dude Judge, he watched his team grind their way to 250 total yards and not score a TD. And yet afterwards, still had the audacity to say that he was, quote, encouraged by what he saw. I saw a lot of players make a lot of big plays. Dude, you had 2 plays of 20 yards or more and 0 touchdowns. That means there were 0 players making 0 big plays. The hell are you talking about this time, Joe? But he's not coming off that point. And he's still talking out his ass. My guy, absolutely nothing is moving in the right direction. In the third quarter, for instance, your offense had a sequence that went like this: 13-yard sack, timeout to avoid delay of game, 7-yard sack, delay of game penalty, running play on 3rd and 33. Like, you hear this guy vomiting nonsense like that, and you know he really does believe he's Bill Belichick when his team's out here playing like he's Ray Hanley. Because if that's moving in the right direction, I would hate to hell to see what moving in the wrong direction is. And again, the wrong direction might be the New York Jets. I need time to develop that thought. I mean, is it time? Aren't I due for another appearance on the NFL Today on CBS? Is it not time for me to do yet another State of New York football on that show? I mean, I don't think I'm due for another appearance for 2 or 3 weeks, but nothing will change. If anything, it'll get worse. That take will hold. I can do it then. Because the Jets also went Jets.